Hey there, Tribe. Melinda here with another little life lesson for you. I wanted to talk to you today about those icky situations that we find ourselves in where all the tools and strategies we've learned over the years don't actually help us in those moments. I've done so much personal development and spiritual work, just like most of you have, and I have tools and vision boards and workbooks and journals upon journals, like it's slightly OCD how much information and how many tools I have up my sleeve now after years and years and years of trying to improve myself. But there's those moments where those amazing tools that help us in most of our life do not help us. And an example of this would be, we're taught that when you're feeling emotion coming up from a conflict that you're in the middle of, is to create space. And it works beautifully when you can do that, withdrawing yourself from the energy that you're in, taking yourself away, having a little moment to breathe, maybe do your serene mind practice, come back with a bit more clarity, a bit more compassion, and you've really managed to diffuse something that could have been quite toxic. But then you have a similar scenario, but you're in a car. You're driving, you're running late to an event, and the kids are kicking off in the back. You don't have an opportunity to pull over on the side of the road, get out, breathe for 3 minutes, because literally one of those children is about to die at the arms of the other. So you need to act and you need to respond, and it feels quite icky because you've got the emotion coming up and you don't have an ability to use those beautiful tools that you've been taught to help calm it so you can take on that situation from a beautiful, serene place. So when you're in those icky situations, my advice to you, which some people might not agree with, is take a deep breath, because that's all you literally have time for, a deep breath, and say to yourself, I come from my heart. Just say that to yourself and then continue to do what you need to do. But you may still find that that's not enough to calm that emotion. An emotion may come out in your voice, in your tone. And you know what? An apology. That is all that is required. When you own up at the end, if you have, spoken in a way that you're not proud of, just apologize after. Because it is better to acknowledge what we've done when we did the best that we could in that moment afterwards, than to just blow up and then condemn ourselves for it for days after, because we should know better. We've done all these workshops and we've learnt from the best. It is best just to own it. But if you can just take that one breath, which literally will take you 5 seconds, I come from my heart, those words will soften you instantly. It might not be enough to eradicate the emotion that's flying up inside, but will be enough to soften you. You'll also find there's times where you're trying to come from love and compassion, but the person you're talking to is saying things that are quite hurtful. You've got a beautiful little pain body and all these stories that you've created, and there's something that they've said that's triggered you quite significantly. And your little ego is in the background going, let me at them. I really want to get in there. They've hurt me. And it's harder to come from that loving, compassionate place once those words or that action has taken place. In those scenarios, the best thing to do is to take a deep breath, always the breath, one deep breath. That's all you need. And say, I see with love. I always find this really quite helpful when Glenn and I in particular are having a conversation and I don't like the direction or the words that he's spoken, and then I choose to see him with love. So I choose to go to that place where I see the beauty in this man, where I remember and reflect on, very quickly inside my mind space. So I'm not off with the pixies making him more cranky at me, but I'm actually just taking a little moment to remember who he truly is. And I find looking in his eyes is the quickest and easiest way for me to bring myself back to who he is at his core. So that's another little tool that you could use, is just to say that you are seeing through love, that you are seeing with your heart. Even though your little ego is wanting to get at him, you kind of need to be the gatekeeper to pull them back until you can get that emotion in check at a later time, if you don't have time up your sleeve in that moment. I just wanted to share that because I think sometimes we can get so woo-woo and caught up in this I need to do this, then I've got to use that tool. And sometimes it is not appropriate in that moment, or we just cannot control our emotion in time. And that's okay. We can't beat on ourselves for being human. That's a part of our experience. So that's your little life lesson for today. Have a great day, guys.